Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Diane Lang. Welcome to Wisdom of the Akashics. It is Sunday, the 15th of May, 2016, and I've just come into my house and I'm going to do a video. And the video is on honoring yourself and accepting yourself in terms of how you are handling the relationship while you're searching for your sacred partner, waiting for your sacred partner, working on becoming in alignment with your sacred partner. But if your sacred partner isn't present for you, it's very different to work through that than it is to somebody that's in their partnership and that is working through their stuff and that has met their sacred partner, their twin partner, and that they are able to be present in their lives, they're part of their lives, and versus that they're not transitioning in or out of something different to come to the relationship that they believe is what they're in alignment with, what they're looking for, and that they particularly for those of us who believe that we have met our sacred partner and that we do have them in our lives, or we're aware of them, they're aware of us, we're aware of the connection, things like that. And the reason that I want to talk about it is because in total honesty, I just had what could be a little bit of a spidey discussion with my twin. And it came about from frustration. It came about through feeling not acknowledged about something that my perception of what was going on, and his response to it. And I got impatient and I got frustrated, and I shared that with him. And I can tell you from experience and from understanding energy and from understanding the law of attraction and from understanding what type of energies call energy towards us and what energies, I guess, and I've used this word before, repel energies or repel people. And I can tell you based on this little, what just kind of took place between us, that he's probably going to go into step back mode. He may go into wake up mode, which would be my preference, but I feel based on what happened, he's going to go into step back mode. And that's okay. That's part of what happens. And if we were in a relationship and we were in an active relationship and partnership, if I was frustrated, it would be something that he would know. And it would be something we'd work through and discuss, or we would be learning about where he was feeling frustration in the relationship or impatience in me, and likewise. And I feel like I'm gonna have a bit of a sneeze, so excuse me. And so what I wanted to do though is, because as soon as we had this conversation, I right away started to get mad at myself for showing that side. And I very quickly realized that I'm not allowing myself to really get mad at myself anymore. I want to go into awareness. I want to be conscious of it. I want to think of it from my heart, and I want to decide, how I feel about it. And the fact of the matter, what I was doing was being true. I was being true to myself, and I was being true in regards to the feelings that I'm having and what I'm going through by the fact that we have this connection, but we're in separation. And so one of the things for me, and what this relationship has brought me and taught me really in such a high way, is a self-love. It was to really look inside and start to love myself and to value myself and feel worthy of this type of a partnership and feel worthy of having this level of love for another human being, and that they could love back, and that there is a process that has to take place for people that need to complete their agreements in their way. So for example, if somebody needs to leave a relationship, you want them to come out of that relationship with as much integrity as they can. They may need to come out of it with it in a way that doesn't suit us. If somebody is choosing to, they've gone through a separation and they're staying, keeping their hearts a little bit separate from people right now, it's because there's healing that's taking place, and there's stuff that has to happen, that they have to come to their own place for them to start feeling trust. And regardless if it's trust in us, who we at our heart level, if you have a twin sacred relationship and partnership, and the way you feel about that person, you will feel a level of loyalty for them that is so natural that it can make it very frustrating in how you, because you're missing intimacy in your life because we're waiting, or we're not really, we're not dating because we're allowing this process to take place for them. But we're also human beings in this journey. We do, I do a lot of my work in the higher dimension and stuff that I work a lot in the etherics. I'm an energy healer. I do distant energy healing. So when you do that, you recognize that not everything has to be seen and present for it to be real and for it to be happening. And when you can do distant healing on somebody who has an amazing result from that healing, and comes up out of a cloud or a funk, or gets some clarity and feels some inner peace and starts to sleep, and it's because you're doing distant work on them, you get to really be confident that you're doing the work on the fifth dimension, and that it's taking place effectively. So part of what I want to say here, though, and I don't want to do a long video because I feel like I need to kind of step back and go process this now, but I wanted to do the video because what I'm not going to do this time, which I've done more in the past, is beat myself up for speaking my truth and for speaking my mind. Because as a human person in this journey, and as somebody who recognizes that, I am a spiritual being having a human experience, but the fact of the matter is, in the third dimension, it is a human experience. And as such, I want to honor that. So I was frustrated. I did speak my mind. There was one response to it, and it was a defensive response. And then I wrote back again, and I gave a little bit more of my frustration and impatient comment. Probably one that I could have been maybe a little bit more cognizant of what I said, but it's how I felt and I said it. And so what I want to do, and how I'm changing my pattern, is regardless of the outcome, when you make the story about yourself. So right away I turned this around and I was like, okay, Diane, how do you feel about this? Well, I was like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Now I've probably pushed him away and this and that. And then another part of me says, no, you are being honest and truthful. Now, it would be like anything. It would be like I talk about in the video where we talk about doing a karmic correction versus karmic continuation. I don't believe this is karma that's working itself out in this particular incident, but it's like, what do I want to do after I've done that? And the very first thing that I wanted to do is stop beating myself up, because I was just expressing my truth in that moment. And I feel I had a very valid reason to express my truth in that experience because of what took place. And so part of it is to understand that, that he may very well do the step back thing now. And, what I ask the universe is to help us both find clarity in where it is we are, where we want to be, where our truth is, where our hearts really feels like it wants to be, where it's meant to be. Confidence to make confidence in trusting in those feelings, confidence that this relationship is taking place, that this level of heart, deep heart love is actually happening to me and to him and to whomever you're in your twin experience with and your sacred experience with. And that there are going to be ebb and flow, and there is going to be up and down, but I spoke my truth tonight, and I feel like I'm kind of coming forth to say, and this time I'm not apologizing for it, because I tend to retract it and say, sorry, I was in a bad mood, or I'm just having a rough day, and stuff like that. But it's like there's a part of us that has to honor ourselves in this journey also, because if we're trying to be perfect and we're trying to behave in a manner where we never rock the boat and we don't upset our partners, it's like that isn't realistic in the big picture of a relationship. Because even as a sacred partner, you're still going to come into places, you're going to enter places where you have to work your stuff out. You have to find your trust. You have to become confident in the commitments that you're giving into each other, and that the word that you give the relationship and all of that. And so it will be part of the dynamics. My big thing, and I've talked about this in another video, I think, was, recognizing that there's things that, go work on your stuff in other relationships. So if you do have an insecurity with men, go work on relationships. Work on that outside of that relationship. And it doesn't mean you have to be intimate with somebody to work on stuff with them. If you have distrust for a man keeping his word, or a woman keeping her word, or not playing games with you, or something that you're feeling in that relationship. I try to give a lot of examples, because sometimes we don't resonate with one version of an example, but we're related. You give 2 or 3 examples and then people can relate. So that's partly why I do that. So whether you're the male energy or the female energy, the masculine and the feminine in the relationship, you are going to have that dynamic. But if you know for a fact you have an insecurity, for example, about believing or trusting in a man's word because you've been, maybe let down in the past, or a woman hasn't kept their word, or you've had, a couple relationships in a row where she wasn't loyal to you, or likewise, or opposites. And so that you start to develop relationships, you go out and you attract relationships where you heal that, because you have to heal that to bring it into a relationship. So you're in alignment with trust when you call forth your partner, or when your partner finally shows up or is ready to step in the relationship. Because whether we like it or not, there is some truth to them actually. If you understand radical forgiveness and you understand the law of attraction, which is some of the stuff that I use, the tools in my toolbox, you can realize that sometimes they are literally waiting for us to get our lessons. They are waiting for us to heal the distrust and heal maybe the power struggles and things like that, because that they didn't agree to come to that. They didn't agree to come into a relationship with that. They agreed, our agreement maybe be, we incarnated, we worked our stuff out, we worked our karma out, so we were in full karmic correction in our behavior, and that is when the twin has agreed to come forth. So if we haven't done our work, they can be sitting in the peripheral using whatever reasons that they are coming, they're comfortable using at this time, and they may be valid, very valid reasons, but that they're not going to step up until we work out our stuff. So I want to just bring up this video for the sense that, one of the patterns that I saw changing, and that I came downstairs and I made this video tonight because it's 9:44 in the evening, and is that I'm handling it different this time. I'm not going to apologize for saying my mind, speaking my mind. I'm a very direct person. I'm very straightforward. I'm very honest when people ask me something, and I'm relied upon that for people for that. And so it's about not apologizing for speaking my truth, but just understanding that there may be a consequence to it, and that may be a step back, a backpedal, a rethink. And so, we may have just taken a 2 steps forward, 3 steps back type of, excuse me, I have to move in my chair a little bit. We may have just done that dance as a result of my speaking my honest truth in that situation that took place. And I'm okay with that this time, and I'm okay with it, and I want to share it with you, so that when you catch yourself beating yourself up over something, that actually isn't beneficial to us. What's beneficial to us is saying, what did I do that's causing me to feel like I need to beat myself up right now? What is it I did? What did I do? And did I do it consciously? And in this case, I did, because I consciously spoke my mind. And so if I did it consciously, and then now I'm feeling some angst and anxiety and maybe a little bit bad about it, it's like, I accept that. I'm in that place. I accept my anxiety. I accept that I've upset probably both of us in this situation, but it's not what I'm not willing to do. And what I would impart upon you to not be willing to do is to beat yourself up for it and then stay there. So it's like the response, and it's so that it's, I talked about this in a video, I think at the very beginning, about, you know, I was taught through a minister that I used to love, this church that I went to called Center for the Positive Living when I lived in a different city. And what she taught us there is you don't get mad at the behavior. You pay attention to how long you stay in the behavior. So now if I'm going to start, let's say, for example, because he upset me, I feel upset, is that I start firing back mad, mean text messages or something, and I didn't do that. I did send one text message back. I spoke my piece about how I felt about it, and I actually went and put my phone away. That's a difference. That's a change in behavior from maybe before, where I would, you know, next thing you know, like I said in one of my other videos too, where often he sends 2 text messages and I've sent 11 or something like that. Whether if you do that type of behavior, you really are taking the push that you've pushed, maybe that they've responded by stepping back, and now you've given them reasons to not do 2 forward, 3 back, but 2 forward and 9 back. And I don't think that happened here, and I don't think he'll see it that way. My guess is, based on how we know each other, he's going to understand that I'm frustrated today. I'm frustrated with what happened tonight. I'm feeling impatient because I am, for the most part, patiently allowing this relationship to come to fruition in its own time. And sometimes we have to question what we're doing in the interim. And maybe, you know, is it best served that we stay completely single? Because maybe we could, you know, if somebody feels that they want intimacy in your life, I spoke about that and say, honor that. Go, if that's what's important to you, just be honest with the person that you're having the experience with. That maybe, you know, I'm not ready for a commitment. I have feelings for someone else, but I really do appreciate having somebody in my life, and I appreciate having a companionship, and I appreciate having, you know, somebody to do things with. So you just want to be partner or honest, that you don't take advantage of another soul to fill a blank for you. So that's where you would evaluate that. So it's like asking yourself the question, what is the best and highest thing for me to do right now? And if you really believe that you have really internally, you just really believe that you have found that soul relationship, and that is going to require some waiting, so to speak. And that looks like it's a ways away. Oh, the video just froze again. I wish my video would not freeze like that. If it's a ways away, I think I'm going to stop my video soon because it's just freezing now, so I may not even end up playing it. I just did it again. I feel like I need to complete, so let's just do that. We're 18 minutes in. It's pausing. We're 18 minutes in and it's still pausing, so I'm going to let you guys go. I do hope that the message is really understood, is about honor yourself and then trust that things will get back to normal. Trust that things will step back into alignment, that they'll start, you know, you'll get back on path. You know, they're going to get over their stuff. You're going to get over your stuff. And, but please don't turn yourself into a punching bag over anything that you do. And just recognize that, you know, maybe you need to, you know, you needed to do what you said and what you did, and now you're going to let that play itself out. You're going to get back on track. You're going to get back into your place where you feel confident and trust in your decisions, in your relationship, in your love, in your feelings, and all of that. And I thank you very, very much for listening to my videos. You can reach me at wisdomoftheakashics at gmail.com and facebook.com/wisdomoftheakashics. And I do personal readings for people, and I do coach in the twin soul relationship, and I I do it really based a lot in the law of attraction, and I'm also an advanced Akashic record reader. So we can bring a lot of tools in to help us through these experiences. And when I have a time like today, I often go to my coach, because I have a coach. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you, beautiful souls. Have a blessed evening. Diane Lang, Wisdom of the Akashics.